Good afternoon. It is Michelle with Seams Like Quilting, and it is Shop Samples Sunday. I am working through some projects. This is a pop and play. Isn't he adorable? Oh my god, anyway. So this is what I'm working on. The pop and play has a couple of panels from Riley Blake, and one of them has two kind of cutouts, shaped cutouts from each of these classic toys from Fisher-Price. And I am making stuffies out of them. Now, I don't normally do this. I don't like doing this. A lot of people like making stuffies and they're really, really good at it. I am not talented at it. My seams are usually really wrinkly and my stuffing is usually a little off, but there are a few things that I have done to kind of set myself up for success. And a couple of things that I've done that have set myself up for challenges. So the first thing I did that set myself up for challenges was I actually put some extra stitching. So I put batting on the, I basted the panel, and I did some quilting around some of the features on the panel right before I actually stuffed it. I actually really like how it looks. I think it makes them pop a little bit, which is kind of part of the point. Here on this one, I did like the wheels and some of the little popping balls. I think it actually looks really nice, but where I set myself up for challenges was that just made the seam thicker and made it harder to turn, especially for some of these long thin areas that are a challenge to turn anyway. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend doing that unless you were open for that experience. But there are a couple of things I did to set myself up for success. And the first is the fill. So this is a polyfill, and it's, there's a lot of different manufacturers of polyfill, and I'm not going to recommend one over another. We don't sell polyfill in the shop, but the one thing I do recommend is when it comes out of the package, it's usually really matted up and squished, especially if you order it online, because they vacuum seal it. But I kind of rip it apart. If you rip it apart, like pull it apart and put it and stuff it into smaller pieces, you actually get a smoother finish that isn't so lumpy. When you put it in kind of matted up, it gets all lumpy inside the stuffy. The other thing that I recommend is looking at how you are finishing and where you're finishing your last seam. So obviously you put the two pieces together, facing each other, and then you turn it inside out, but you got to leave a gap when you sew it, otherwise you can't turn it. So when you turn it, you're going to kind of be finishing that last seam. So a couple things to set you up for success. One is to actually match your thread to the background fabric, even if it changes on where the seam is. In this case, it's not, but the background isn't actually white. It's kind of this like taupey creamy color, and white thread actually was jarring against it. So I'm actually matching my thread. The other is to use a really strong kind of clip. I don't pin this seam together before I sew it. Wonder clips work great. I got these at these little mini clothespins with the labels on them that I use for my blocks. I got these at Target. That would work just fine. Just something that will hold it together that isn't a pin, because the pin's just not strong enough. The other thing is I would really consider where that seam is going to be. Now these had recommended spots. You could tell when you cut them out that there was like a break in the outline. So these had recommended spots, but because I quilted them, I ended up doing multiple spots on a couple of these. So in this one, this was the recommended spot was along the bottom here, but I also ended up doing along this side because I just could not turn that seam. So I ended up finishing that by hand. So just be open to kind of playing it by ear a little bit. You don't want to have a super lumpy compromise kind of the edge of your piece by setting yourself up for frustration. So this is one of the things we're working on. The panel is available. It's available on the website under Pop and Play, the collection Pop and Play. There's also another panel that's one main motif that I'll be working on in a little bit. That is that we're setting into some borders and making a quilt top out of. So that's Shop Sample Sunday. That's Pop and Play, and this. Isn't he adorable? Oh my gosh, I just love him so much. So as soon as these are done, these will be displayed in the quilt shop. But I'm telling you, these panels are going super fast. So if this is something that you're interested in, if this is a project that you think you'd want to work on, or even if you'd want to use these panels as applique, or I think it'd be super cute applique on like a jean jacket or a kid's hoodie or something like that, or my hoodie. I want them on my hoodies. Really think about picking up that panel soon because they are going fast. Thanks.